What's up, my fellow Fix-It employees? Welcome back to another episode of How to Satisfactory, my guide and walkthrough through the game, showing you everything in detail about building an efficient factory from the time you land on the planet to, I don't know, probably around nuclear, maybe somewhere thereafter. Don't really know how far we're going to get yet, but let's go ahead and get started with today's lesson. Now, in the last episode, we built this pretty awesome, if I do say so myself, trucking depot right here. And we've got all of our plastic and rubber coming over from our oil refineries all the way over here via truck. And one lonely little truck, actually. That's all we have working right now. But you know what? Doesn't matter. He's doing an awesome job all by himself. Every single one of my my storage containers over here are actually full. So, yeah, he's been doing pretty good all by himself. Now, in this episode, my intention was to start the process of building the manufacturing plant, which is going to go right around in this area somewhere, and it's going to connect to our main factory, but it is going to be its own separate thing. However, I learned, really, Jeffrey, you're just going to walk right over me as I'm talking here. Anyway, in the process of building that and trying to figure everything out and how I was going to do it, I realized pretty quick that we are going to need a lot more power than what we're actually producing, because I kept running out of power. So what we're going to do today, instead of starting on a manufacturing plant like I intended, I'm going to do a little bit of a shorter episode, and we're going to fix our power issues. But before we do that, let's head back over to our main hub. So since I don't believe that this episode is going to be that long, I thought I would take the opportunity to go into another lesson real quick here. So what we're going to do is head over here to our hub terminal. We're going to go into here and we're going to go into tier 5, and we're going to take a look at the gas mask. Now, the gas mask is a handy dandy utility that basically allows us to breathe in those deadly gases. You know, it's pretty much in the name. So what we're going to need is we're going to need some rubber, some plastic, both we have, and we're going to need fabric, but we haven't actually started making fabric yet. So let's go ahead and select this as our milestone. And I myself haven't figured out the pattern yet for fabric. So I'm going to go in here to our MAM, and it is under mycelia. So if we go down here under mycelia, you should see it right here, right there, fabric. As you can see, I haven't learned it yet. You may have already. You've probably gone through a lot of stuff in your MAM, but I haven't. So we're going to go ahead, click on that, and I can't afford it. It's because I need 25 mycelia and 100 biomass. Now, I have both of those, just handy actually, right here in my container. So I'm going to grab all of that mycelia I have and about 2 stacks of biomass, because I'm going to be needing some of that. And we're going to, you know what, actually, before I do this, I should probably show you guys this. In case you don't actually have any mycelia, let me show you where you can find some. Let's head all the way down to the base deck. So we're just going to head all the way down to the bottom floor and then out to the door over here. And we're going to go around our main factory over here to our cave, because there is a little cave right over in here. Right there it is. So you can just kind of come right over in here, and there's going to be some mycelia right down in here. So you can just kind of come down in here and get it. Now, there are spiders down in here, so you may want to get out your whacking stick and just be careful. So there's a couple of these guys down in here. Now, maybe you're playing with hostiles off. I do not. I kind of like the challenge of it. So I'm going to come out, spiders. I know you're in here. Where you at? Alright, so this is really weird. I can hear them skitter-scattering around, so I know they're in here, but they're not coming anywhere near me, so I think they're stuck in a wall or something, so they're kind of glitched out at the moment. But yeah, just keep in mind, there are some spiders in here, and if you have hostiles turned on, you may want to watch out for that. But, and we also have bats in here too. That's kind of new. But anyway, yes, so used to, you could come in here, and there used to be mycelia just kind of laying on the floor that you could just pick up. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So now we actually can only get it by chainsaw. Now, I don't know if every cave has changed this way. Maybe I just came in here and picked it all up already. I don't remember. I think it should still be here, though, after an update. But, yeah. So what we're going to do is come over here to these blue things. And we're just going to use the chainsaw. We're going to cut those down. And now we have some mycelia. So you can find some mycelia in here, and it's usually in caves. Sometimes you can also find it out and about as well. But this is a great place to come if you need some. Let's head back to the hub. All right, back to the MAM. So we have our mycelia, we have our biomass. Let's jump in here, go in here to the mycelia part, and there we go, fabric. So we'll just start the research on that. Doesn't take but a quick second, and bam, now we're done with that. Now we've unlocked a couple things here. We've unlocked right here, we can do another expanded tool belt, which gives you a plus hand equipment slot. That's pretty handy, but we're going to need 50 fabric for that, and we're going to need a lot more fabric right now for what we need coming up. So we need 50 fabric, 100 rubber, and 200 plastic. Oh, no, sorry, 200 rubber, 100 plastic. All right, so let's see. I've got that, I've got that. We're going to make our fabric. And let's see, if we come down here, should see it right there. I can make, looks like about 55 of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and make that real quick. All right, all of that is now made. So we'll come back over here. I'll drop that in there. Now I just need the rubber and the plastic. So I will have to head all the way back over there to where we have it in storage. And I'm just going to do that real quick and then blink right back over here. Alright, now I've got the plastic, I've got the rubber, we got everything we need. Hit that big red button and boom! Alright, so now that the gas mask is unlocked, the next thing we're going to need is to make it. So let's head down to the bottom floor to our workshop, which is right down here. I don't know why I don't have a workshop up there too, but it's just all the way down here. And I already have it on here, so you can see what we're going to need to make it. 100 rubber, 100 plastic, and 100 fabric. So you don't have to keep making the gas mask. The gas mask is a one-time thing, but you do need to make gas filters for it. I'll get into that in a moment. So it's a little bit costly to make, but just like the Blade Runners, you pretty much only have to do it about one time, and that's it. So let's head back up. We're going to need to make a lot more fabric for this. Got plenty of mycelia, but I am going to need more biomass. So I'll grab a couple stacks of that, head back over here, and I'll just start crafting it real quick. Now, some of you may think, well, I can just put down a constructor and just have the constructor making this while I'm doing something else. And that's completely fine if that's what you want to do. However, it makes 15 a minute, and I can sit here and just, you know, craft it by hand a lot quicker than what the constructor will do. Alright, a lot more fabric now, so we should have everything we need back down to the bottom, and let's start crafting that gas mask. Alright, we'll craft just one here real quick, and done. Alright, so next thing we're going to need is gas filters. You'll need fabric, you'll need some rubber, and you're going to need some coal. So, we're not too far from a coal. I can just head right over here to where we are currently making all of our steel parts, and I can just grab some coal out of these things here. There we go, foundry, and yeah, there we go. Steal some coal, we won't mind. Back to the workshop, and let's make 12 gas filters. So the gas filters are what you have to keep making. So as you are in the deadly clouds of gas, you will slowly start using gas filters. There'll be a meter down here once you have the gas mask on and everything that will tell you how long you have, and it will start going through. There'll be like tell you how many filters you have, and each time one uses, then it will decrease in how many you have. It's kind of obvious, but anyway, got 12 filters. That should be enough for the time being, but you can always make more if you want. And we're going to head into our inventory. We're going to take the gas mask and we're going to put it in our head slot. And I gotta tell you guys, I really love the fact that now we have the opportunity where we can wear multiple things. So we can have the Blade Runners, a gas mask, a jetpack. It's just really, really, really nice. Even a hazmat suit as well. So everything is really nice to have all that in one, instead of just having to choose just one thing like it used to be. You do not have to equip the gas filters. They're just in your inventory. Now you can also see down here on the left hand side, down here, you'll see you have the Xeno Basher, the Blade Runners, and you have the gas mask right there, and you see the filters 12 right above that. So now that we have that gas mask equipped, we're going to use it real quick. So let's head out of our base here, our factory. So I'm going to head this way out. Alright, so here we can see our Nobulus factory. Now, there's actually a cave system right underneath of here, and there's two ways to get in. One of them is right here. If you kind of go right over here, you can kind of drop down in there. That will take you down into it. So that's one way to go. But we're going to head over here and just kind of start heading west past where we're mining the iron right there. Just keep going. And we should see there, I think there's another iron node right down here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And then just keep heading this way. And we're going to come over here to these cliff systems right here. Yeah, this should be it. So if we head down here, you can see the gas over there. And then right here is going to be the entrance to this cave system. So we're going to go down in here. Now, there are a lot of spiders down in here. I mean, a lot of them. So be careful and just watch yourself. Take it slow so you don't get overwhelmed by a bunch of them at once. These things are fast and they do a lot of damage. There's our first one right there. So only takes a couple of hits. These are the smaller ones. That I don't know if there's, I think there might be some bigger ones in here. There's another one right there. Now you're probably wondering, why are we coming down in here? Well, there is this place was kind of inaccessible before. You could get down in here, but you would die of the gas. So now that we have the gas mask, this is a great place to get down in here and get a ton of blue slugs. There's so many blue slugs down here. You guys are going to be really surprised when you see them all. So we're just going to make our way through the caverns, killing any of the little skitter scatters as we see them. Alright, so as I come upon it, I can see here now there is mycelia in this cave that you can just pick up right off the ground without needing the chainsaw at all. So maybe I've already just picked it all up in that cave, or maybe they just changed that one cave. But anyway, it's always good to have mycelia, so I'll grab a bunch of this as we're down here. And as you get deeper into the cave, you will see the first signs of the gas. So as I step into the gas, though, you will see that it doesn't affect me at all. There we go. So your vision will sort of change. It'll get kind of a little blurry. And I guess it's like a force field thing that comes up over your face or something. Not 100% sure. But you can see there that you have an air meter on the side over there. And as that decreases, it will use those air filters. So we have 11 right now at the moment. We're all right. So we're going to go deeper into the caverns and into this chamber here, where you will then see so many blue slugs up here. Look at all the blue slugs. Look at this. There's like 1, 2, 3. There's like 6 of them down in here. I've already counted. So all you gotta do at this point is just start picking them up and make sure you have the space for it. All right, there's our first one. Let's see. We should be able to jump down here, come over here, and then we gotta kill this one up here. There we go. Another skitter down. And then let's see, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. So hopefully you brought some concrete with you, because the best way to get these things is by using, just making your own bridges and stuff too. That's a great way to do it. I'm just going to hop over here to this one. Oh, got knocked off. That's fine. Some of them you can just kind of climb around and get. Like this one here, I should be able to get close enough to just pick it up. No? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we'll grab this one. And then the other ones we are going to need to make ramps for. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. All right, and then just pick up our blue slugs. All right, check in my inventory. I have 6 blue slugs. That is all of them in here. Next, all I have to do is now just delete the things I made, or you can leave them if you want, but I like to have my concrete back because you never know when I'm going to need it. So I'm going to take that, and then we're going to head out the way we came in. So there's only one way in. Well, I guess there's technically 2 ways out. You don't have to worry about taking off your gas mask. You can just keep it on. It will only start being used and use the air when you're in an area where you need it. So that's pretty handy. All right, once you're back out in daylight, just head back over to the main factory, and we're going to turn these blue slugs into power shards. Now, the reason we went down in there is A, so I could show you how the gas mask works, and B, so that we could retrieve all those power slugs, because we're going to need, for the next couple of episodes, a ton of power shards. So whenever you see slugs, grab those slugs. You're going to need them in the future. Just trust me, we're going to need a lot. Alright, so now that I've got that short little lesson out of the way about the gas mask, the next thing we're going to do is the main part of this episode, and that is going to be expanding our coal power so that we can produce a lot more power in order to make the expansion into manufacturing, because manufacturers use a lot of power. Not only that, you're going to need a lot of assemblers and stuff to make the other stuff you need for the manufacturer. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing some new pipe work. We're going to be adding some new water extractors, and we're going to be adding a few new cogenerators. So make sure you get all the parts you're going to need for that. So if you need to, just go in and you can go in here and just look at, like, say, water extractors, see what you need for that. Rotors, copper sheeting, reinforced plates, and then of course the same thing for your cogenerators. You're going to need like more rotors, more cable. I'm a little low on cable and rotors, so I'll probably grab a couple stacks of that. And something else we're going to get into today is going to be power storage. We haven't really touched on this yet, but you have these giant batteries you can place down which store power, and those are really handy. So we're going to be doing some of those, which you'll need copper wire, you're going to need some modular frames, and you're going to need some stators. And we're also going to need one of these power switches. So make sure you have some Caterium wire and some steel beams, and it looks like that's an AI circuit. So yep, make sure you have all of that. So just one more thing I wanted to do before we head over to the cogenerators is I wanted to talk a little bit about the tickets and the shop real quick. So let's go ahead. I'm sure at this point you guys have a ton of tickets. I've got 32 right now. That's a lot of tickets. So we could easily buy a lot more stuff. And since we're heading back over to work on the cogenerators one more time, I thought it would be a good chance to grab some customizing stuff, and that way we can kind of, you know, work on the power plant. Now, I'm not going to show you guys how to customize your power plant the way you want. I prefer to try to give you guys some creativity and let you guys fix it how you want for the most part, as far as how it looks and everything. I am just going to grab some things that I think are going to look good. So for one, I want to grab these street lights. I think that would be good, so I'm going to grab that. And let's see, light control panels, don't need anything else on there. If you guys want, you can do indoor lighting if you want to, like, put your entire coal plant inside of a building. You can do floodlights. If you go into management over here, you can do clean pipelines now. This is something that was added in the last update, so that's kind of cool. If you don't like, you know, seeing the different pumps and stuff going through, like the ridges that are on the pipes, you can just make them completely clean. You can do extra wall powers and stuff here, so I'm not going to mess with anything like that. I like being able to see the flow of the water. You can grab all of these double ramp sets, these half foundations. In fact, half foundations are a great thing to get. I'm going to go ahead and get those right now. May not use them, but I'm going to grab them anyway. Under walls, I'm going to go ahead and grab these conveyor walls. I don't think I need them, but I'm going to grab them anyway. Gates, different kinds of windows, door walls. I can't believe we've never gotten the door walls before. Let's go ahead and get those too. And architecture here. So this is something I definitely want to grab. I'm going to go ahead and grab the corner roofs. Let's see here. I want to grab these concrete pillars. Definitely want to do that. And let's see, anything else here? I want to grab the metal pillars as well. And I think that's it under this right now. These road barriers are awesome pieces. Very useful for a lot of things. Might as well add those in there. And under customizer, you can also get different kinds of, let's see, I can get concrete walls. So yeah, we'll do that. And let's see here, what else? Different kinds of roofs. So I've already got the glass roofs. You can get steel roofs, you can get tar roofs. So if you are going to do an indoor cogenerator plant and you want to put a roof on it, you can do different kinds of roofs here. So feel free to choose whatever you want here. I'm not going to grab any of those. The grip metal foundation materials is good. Coated concrete is pretty awesome. We have access to that now that we are making plastic and rubber. So pretty cool stuff. That's all I need. Let's go ahead and check out. That's going to take 24 tickets for everything I bought. All right. Now, let's head over to the coal power plant. All right, there she is in all of her glory. Our hardworking coal generator power plant, outputting about a little over 1,000 megawatts, if I do the math correctly, I believe. We got 7 on each side. What we're going to do is we're going to add 4 more coal generators. We're going to add 2 more water extractors. We're going to add some power storage, and we're going to redo the pipes. So let's get to it. So as I said earlier, one of the main reasons that we are going to be working on power today for this episode is because for the manufacturing process, we're going to need a lot more power than what we are actually producing. We could add fuel generators to it, which would be adding even more power and fix up the oil and everything. But by doing that, we can't until we get the heavy modules, the heavy frames, and then we're also going to need computers. So we have to be able to get those started making, and before we can even unlock that. I mean, yeah, you could make them by hand, but that's just a lot of work, and I'd much rather do it by, automatically. That's the name of the game. Another reason is because, and a few people have noticed this and called it out in the comments, is that if we take a look at this last code generator down here, you'll see it's just not getting enough water. That's because I kind of messed up on the pipes and we added maybe too many down through here. But yeah, so these two are just constantly cutting off and not producing the power they need to. So that's why we're going to redo the pipes and add a few things today. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some storage for our power. So we're going to come down here. I'm going to grab one of these foundations. We're going to extend this out just like this. Then we're going to add another layer on top of that with a 1 meter, because apparently I was using 2 meter there. So we'll do 1 meter on top of that. And then we're going to extend that out one more time, just like that. So you should have coming up 1 from right here on this edge, and then coming out 2. So it's about 2 by 3, and that should do the trick. Now that we have our little 2 by 3 base right here, we are going to then grab and power our power storage. And I want to be able to see the top of this real quick. I want to be able to see where the input for our electricity is. So as you can see, it's right there on the top. It's facing us. That's what we want. We're going to come right here into the middle of this one. I'm going to place it right in the middle of this foundation block right there. I'm going to place another one right next to it over here. Not here, but literally right next to it. And another one right next over here. We're going to leave a little bit of space right here on this side, and I think that's going to make it look best. So then I'm going to turn this one so that the electricity is facing inward right there. And I'm going to come down here to the middle again, place our first one there, and just like we did the other side, place another one and another one. There we go. Okay, so now we have our battery storage there. We'll hook this up momentarily. I want to then do a power switch. So I'm going to place the power switch facing us. As you can see, there's a switch like right on the front of that. If you turn it around, there's like a power box on the back, right there. We want to place that right in the middle where the ramp meets the blocks right there. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and place, let's see here. I want to do architecture. And I am going to do a small metal pillar right here. You can do concrete if you want. Place it right up against it. Kind of like right here, actually, I think is where I want this. Yeah. Make sure it's right in the middle. Yeah, perfect. Right there. And then another one. And another one. And let's see. Do I want to keep this way? I'll decide that in a moment. All right. So right now, though, I'm going to then go in. We're going to do some beams. Beams under architecture. Where are the beams? There they are, painted beams. All right, I'm going to take these beams, put them right up against the edge right there. Place them up to right about there. Same thing here. Okay. And yeah, then these other ones, I can take these and go all the way up. Maybe one more. Doesn't look good there. I think I'm going to bring this one more up right there on top. And then we'll take these and bring those up. Actually, we won't even bother with the front. Well, we have to, actually. Right there. That's perfect. And then, yeah, bring that up to about the same height. And come back here to the back. Do the same thing. And connect that up to that. Now, if I'm lucky, everything is on the same platform there. Okay. If I come around to the back, I can then, I think, place a ladder down here. So, yeah. Place a ladder going up on top of that. Even better. And then I can climb up on top of here. Perfect. All right, now, let's go ahead go into our power outlets and find the wall outlets right there. And I want to place this like right in the middle there and right in the middle here. It's a little tricky sometimes. There we go. Got it. All right, so now that's placed in the middle there. And then I'm going to place one more like right in the front. I could do it here. In fact, I will. All right, so I'm just going to connect this to this. There we go. And let's drop back down here. Now we no longer need the power coming off of this here, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And I'm going to bring the power coming from that middle power outlet down to here and then over. There we go. So that connects that back up. So once the power switch is enabled, it will send the power to our main factory over there. This is just a good way to cut things off if something was to happen while we're working on these power storage and everything. We're going to have to turn some coal generators off. So yeah, this helps us to keep things going basically. Next, let's delete the two painted beams in the front that we created. So get rid of that, get rid of that. Also get rid of the bottom metal pillar. And then we're going to connect a power line to right on the edge. And right on the edge of that. There we go. And then we'll connect this to that top one. We'll connect this side up to that one. Grab our metal beams. And we should just be able to get those right back up to the top where we had them. There we go. Alright, and then our last but not least, let's put our metal pillar back in there. Okay, and then we just have to connect the power from all of this into our power storage. So for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and connect this right here up to that. I'm going to go back here to the top now, and I'm going to go ahead and delete this ladder because I'm actually going to place the ladder down on this side instead. But what I'm going to do now is let's go into architecture. I'm going to grab, let's see, do I have the frame? Yeah, small frame pillars. And what I want to do is if I drop off here, I should be able to place that, yeah, perfect, right there. And then if I turn that into a zoop, I can just run this across like that. That's what I want right there. Gonna go ahead and put our ladder back on top of that concrete pillar right there. All right, now what I can do is let's run this from there to this right here in the middle. All right, and then I'm gonna start with this one over here on this side. We're gonna connect a power line to that, to the next one. From that one to the next one, from there over to this side. Connect that over to here, there over to here. Then I can run that to right there in the middle, and then run that straight up to that. There we go. Now, let's talk about power storage now that it's all connected up. Now you can see they are charging. You see the meters on the side here. So if we take a look at these, you'll see time until it's fully charged is 1 hour. Stored charge, so each of these storage containers can hold about 100 megawatts per hour. And then you can see over here the percentage and everything. And this is about how long it's going to take until it's fully charged. And all of these will be charging at the exact same time. So, yeah. So let me try to explain a little bit about why we're using these. So, we're producing more power right now than what we are actually using. So that extra power is going to go into these batteries, these giant battery storages. And then at some point in the future, if one of our machines was to start using more power than what we're producing, it will take from these battery storage instead. That way it doesn't cut the circuit off like right away. So these are really handy to have. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do pretty much about the same thing we did over here on the other side. So let's head over here. Again, let's go ahead and bring our foundations out. Make sure you put the 1 meter on top. All right, there we go. And then I can just copy a battery, bring it over here. We want to make sure that we have it right though. So again, let's make sure that our battery is turned the right way. Right there, that's good. Place it right in the middle. One over here. One on that side. Turn it twice. And then, yeah, line them up. And place our last one down there. So we have 6. Come down here on the end, grab our metal pillars. Right there. Just zoop that up to about 4. We can grab that metal frame. We can bring that all the way over. Uh-oh. See, so that's a problem. So let's do... That looks about like the middle there. Maybe. That does kind of look like the middle. So then we'll just bring this one over here. Okay, and then if I just do one more there and one more there, that's fine. We'll just connect them together right there in the middle. And that works pretty nicely for me. And again, I'm just going to take my painted beams, run them up to the top of this, like so. Now, if I wanted to, I could put another power switch on this side and then have that basically running the switch that would control all the oil going down that way. Because right now we have that power cable up there around our coal miners that is going that direction and up to our oil. So if I wanted to, I could just bring that cable down through here, put a power switch right there. I'm not going to do that today. I may do it later, but if you guys want to do that, you can. It's certainly a thing. And then we're just going to hook all the power up the same way here. Throw myself a ladder that's going up on top. Climb said ladder. And then, let's see, let's go ahead and run from there up to right here in the middle. Run that to there. And I'm going to go ahead and place one of these down right here just in case we do this later. So, there we go. So if we do decide to add a power switch onto this side, we already have our little outlet right here for that to make that easy. All right, and then let's connect these guys up. So we're going to, again, start... it doesn't matter which side here, I think. So let's just connect them down this way. Connect that battery to that battery to that battery, and so forth and so forth. And this last one I'll connect it up to right here, and then run that up to that one on top right there. There we go. Alright, so now these power storage are now working as well. So we have 6 of these. That's 600 megawatts an hour that we can use power from if things start to drain more than we need. Alright guys, so I've been doing some math, and this is what I figured out. We can run 6 coal generators off of 2 water extractors, because the most we can get into a pipe, at least a Mark I pipe right now, is 300 water. So we can make 2 of these run 300 up one pipe, and that's something we can do. But we can't do any more than 300, which means since each of these uses about 45 to 50 water per minute, we can, you divide that, say 300 by 50, and you're looking at about 6. So that's how I've done the math. Now, my plan was to add another water extractor per each side, but I don't think we're going to need it. I think that might be unnecessary. If we do, I will add it towards the end of the video here. But right now, I think we can work with just the 3 per side that we have. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to add a couple more of the power generator here. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and take these foundations. We're going to expand these out to about 2, I think. Now I think we're going to end up doing 3. All right, so we have 7 per side right now. We need 9. So we're going to put a couple co-generators added on. Now each of these co-generators should be 2 past the other one. So right there looks good. And I'll bring the other one down here. So there's 1, 2 right there. That should be all right. Do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to come out 3. Just get our foundations correctly there. And then again, we'll come over here. Let's see, that looks correct. Oh, I'm turned the wrong way. There we go. All right, that's right. And that should be correct there. All right, so that's a total of 9 co-generators per side. The first 6 we can run. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first 2 water extractors will run these 6. That gives us 3 on this side, 3 on this side. Yeah, I think that will work. But in order to make this work, we are going to have to redo almost every single one of our pipes. It's fine, not a big worry. So let me delete some of these stairs out of the way here and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one side at a time here. So let's do, let's see. We want to delete here, and then we'll just bring this out to there. I'm going to have to delete our steps going up here. Not a problem. Probably bring this out by 2. There we go. And then we'll take this, and that should work. Up 2. That's just so I can get up and down right now. We'll take these out. And do I have anything else down here? No. Alright, so let's take this last piece of foundation out. Let's grab one of these 2 meters, and let's put that right here on the end, like that. Alright, and then something we've never used before is the pipeline floor. So I'm going to take these floor holes here. I'm going to put them right on the corner edges. So previously we had them this way. You can see that's lining up with it. But we're going to make space to put a pipe down the middle. So what we're going to do is something like this. We're going to put one in the middle, and then one on the edge over here, like that. That works. Let me just grab a pipe here, and we'll bring this down. And I want to make sure that we are on horizontal to vertical, so you can hit R to go through the different things, such as auto 2D, noodle, horizontal to vertical. And if I bring that down to there, that works. Bring this next one down through here, right there. And then this last one. There we go. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so now we're just going to delete all of the pipes that we have down through here now. So just remove all of these. We can sort of fix the power while we're here too. So let's remove that. And let me just kind of push this right there. That'll work. And then I can connect that down to here. Actually, you know what? I can run that to the edge. To there. And at some point, I'm going to come back here and clean this up with our power cables at some point. I just don't know when that's going to be. But in the meantime, we're fine right here. All right, so the first pipe we're going to work with is going to be our middle pipe. So let's go ahead and run this as far down through the middle as we possibly can. Oh, it looks like it actually will go down to pretty close to where I need it. Yeah, that'll work just great. So we're bringing all the way down here past these. And then we're going to connect up our pipe. Let's go in. We'll grab our pipeline junction cross. We'll turn it so that it's facing where we need. Hold down Control. Line that up. Put that into that. Now our other side, I'm going to do the same thing, but we're just going to kind of connect that into that. It's not going to be straight, but that's fine. That works. All right, so now these 2 water extractors right here will be running 6 of these. So each of these needs to be posting about 150 in there. So we want to get some power shards in there. So let's throw that in there. Let's see, that's 180 per minute. We only need 150. So there we go. All right, that one's good. Head over to this one. One more power shard. And then turn that water into 150 meters per minute. There we go. Alright, so now these 2 are going to run, like I said, the last 3 on each side. They're going to be putting 300 water through these pipes. Let's see. Now I want to make sure that these are all connected with the last 3 up here. So let's get back to the top up here. And we're going to delete all of our pipelines works up here as well. Now you can't actually leave these right here that's coming off of each of our code generators, but you will probably need to delete these sections right here. At least for the first 6, we can leave the last 3. That actually will work fine for lining things up. Alright, now we can just run our pipe down through here. So if I run that like that, connect that up there, and then I can just run this pipe all the way down as far as we can go down through here, and then continue it on. You want to go at least past the last one, so something like right around there. That'll work. All right, now add our junction cross in here. Let's see, right there it is. So it wants to connect kind of there. I don't want to connect it there. I want to connect it here. So I'm gonna have to line this up by eye. That looks good. Connect that into that. One more pipe junction. Kind of line that up with the other one right here. There we go. Connect that in. And then just do this for the first 3 on each side. Connecting it to the middle pipe we just placed. Alright, placing my last one now. There we go. Plug that into that. Alright, that's my first 6 coal generators done. Now we're going to do the others. So we can run... We have 2 coal generator or 2 water extractors down there. That'll pump 300 water up through here to handle the other 6 per side. Alright, so we're going to now... Let's grab some pipe. Come down here to the end. Do the same thing. We're going to bring that up to like right there on that edge. And then we will connect that up and we'll go all the way down through here until we get to... So let's see. Right there should be about where... So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. I'm going to bring it to... I don't know, maybe there. Let's find the halfway point. Right there looks good. Alright. And then bring this up to... Let's see. So right there looks to be about where that pipe is going to come in at. What I could do is just take this one and then just bring it over like that. Oh yeah, that works perfectly. So let's just do that. And then I can just connect these pipes up to each other like that. Yeah, that works. Let's do this on the other side too. So let's come over here. Grab that pipe. We'll bring that over. We'll turn it using my mouse. There we go. And then we can just connect this all the way down through here. Come down to this edge down here. It says that's too far. That's fine. I'll bring it down to, oh, I don't know, right in between here. And then we'll bring it down to there and connect that in. Alright, so now the only thing left to do is we want to make sure that we have all these pipes connected up. Alright, so since these 2 right here are new, let's go ahead and grab a pipeline support. We will put that right in front of that. Like that. We'll bring that up too. Grab our pipes and change that over to that. Noodle should work. Horizontal to vertical should work. I don't know why it's not. That's very weird. Alright, we'll just do noodle. Huh. Weird. Alright, do the same thing down here. Just bring this down. Connect it right there in front of it. Up 2 spots. And then connect into that. Alright. And you can do the same thing on the other side. Connect these 2 up the same way. Don't forget, we're also going to need to split the coal here as well. So let's go ahead and grab these conveyor splitters. Place them that way. Make sure all your connections are in the right direction. Place another one down here, right in front of that. And then just connect up your Mark III belts, like so. And do the same thing, once again, on this other side as well. So we'll connect that up. And we'll come down here and we'll connect that up there. And connect our belts. So with our coal connected, next up is going to be the water. So what I'm going to do is hop on top of this pipe right here. It's a little tricky, but I got it. And let me see, I'm going to need a pipe junction. So it's going to logistics and pipeline cross junction. Kind of line it up, just kind of eyeball it here. Because if you hit control, it doesn't want to line up right. So that's obviously not going to work. So I'm just going to have to do it just by feel. And that looks about right. And then let's connect that into that. And then I'm just going to do the same thing for the rest of these coal generators down through here. So 6 running off of these 2, 6 running off of the other 2, and we've already got the last 3 connected. So once again, that is just grabbing a pipeline cross, coming over here and just kind of lining it up and then connecting into that. So again, what I'm going to do is get the rest of these down through here, And then I'm going to take care of the other side as well, and that should get the water in there. All right, on my last connection now, so just lining that up, grabbing the pipe, sticking the pipe into the slot. There we go. All right, that is all of our co-generators connected to water and connected to co. Now we also had to connect the pipes down here because I don't have these actually connected to the water extractors just yet. So let's jump down here. And what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and just bring this pipe all the way down through here to this one right here. And if I come down to here, so that looks about right there. So I'll take that back about 2. And I should just be able to connect that right into that. Yeah, that works. All right, and we'll do the same thing on the other side down here. So I'll just bring that, just connect it into there, bring it down, find the connection point. Looks about right there, back 2, and in. There we go. And then we're gonna come up here, and I'm just gonna kind of jump on. Well, actually, I might be able to do it from here. So let me grab, once again, our pipeline junction cross, and just kind of make it look about right. That looks good to me. And then connect that in there. There we go. Go to the other side. Same thing once again. Pipeline junction cross. That looks right. Grab the pipe and connect. And there we go. All right. So we'll make sure that all of our water extractors are connected to power and running. They are connected to the water so that they can pump the water up to our machines. But now we're going to need to make sure that these 4 are pumping 300 water up these lines. So these 2 need to equal 300 together. So if we go into this first one right here, I take a power shard right there, stick it into that, turn it up to 1 notch. That's 180. Now if we come down to this other one down here, you can see I've already got this one set at full power, 100%. I do not need to put a power shard in this one. At 120 meters per minute, at 100%, that is 120 plus the 180 from that. 180 plus 120 equals 300, which is all this pipe can handle. So until we get better pipes, that's the best we're going to be able to get. Do the same thing on the other side. Set that one to 150%. So 1 power shard in that one, no power shards in this one. 180, 120, and you got it. Last thing we don't want to forget about is these 2 new co-generators aren't connected to the power grid. So let's come back here to the very back. Just going to grab a power pole, put it down right in the middle of these 2. And connect that to there. And connect that to that. And to this one. There we go. So those 2 are now connected. We're going to go to the other side, do the same thing. Put down our power pole. Connect to the main line. And then connect. We'll connect this one to that line. This one to this one. There we go. Now these are all connected. Not 100% finished yet though, because we still need to make sure that we are sending enough coal down to all of those co-generators per side. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here. I know, if we do the math real quick, that we have 9 per side, and each of those is going to be using 15 coal. So we need 135 out of each of these. So what I'm going to do, grab a power shard, throw it into this one. And then we're going to just select down here and we're going to type in 135. So that's 112.5%. And that will put enough out for one side. And then we just got to do the other one over here. So let's head over to this one. Same thing. Grab a power shard, throw it in there, and 112.5%. There we go. 135 per minute in co. That should keep up just fine with our co-generators. Looking at my power storage, we are almost full. Looks like that's just about 75%. Let me take a look here. 70%, so that's close. And we have 6 of these per side. That is 1,200 megawatts of power per hour right there. So if anything goes wrong, we have that much to spare until we can get things fixed up again. But let's go ahead, flip the switch because we got this power coming up down here. So it's not going to our main factory just yet. But if we flip the switch, our main factory is operational again and back and running. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. We now have a fully operational power plant. So everything is running at its most efficient that has ever been so far on this. I'm really liking how things are coming together. I'm going to do a little bit more work on the side, just kind of fixing it up to my preference. I'm not gonna go over how I'm gonna do that. I might do a live stream where I do it, possibly just kind of fix the rest of this up and make it look stylish and nice and just, you know, more to my style. But you guys can do however you want to fix this up. If you want to take and put walls up and enclose all of this and make it look like a building, you can do that. What I'm personally going to do is how I did those frames right there going across. I'm going to take and run those down this way as well. And then I'm going to connect my power up to those. That way I can get rid of all of these power poles that are running down through here and make it just look a whole lot neater and more, what's the word I'm looking for? More cable managed. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking. Okay, so next episode we are going to be working on putting together the manufacturing plant. I think we've got everything kind of taken care of where we can actually work on that the next time. Sorry about this episode being before. I know you guys were expecting the manufacturing plant, but we had to make the power work before we started building that. Other words, it was just going to be a constant problem. So this is something we had to take care of now. It also gives me a little bit of a chance to kind of figure out exactly what we're doing up there. I have a plan. I think things are going to work out pretty good up there, but I'm still kind of doing some finishing touches on how it's going to look and how everything is going to work and connect together. So, but in the meantime, I got a video out for you guys. I'm not sure what the runtime on this is. Hopefully it's a little shorter than what the videos usually are. That's kind of what I was going for, but I have a feeling it's not. I haven't edited it yet, so I don't know how long the video is going to be. But I appreciate everybody who has watched all the way to the end, and I appreciate all my fans out there who have been watching this series. Thank you so much. If you're new to this series, you can always start checking it out from the very beginning. There should be a link at the end of the video here. It's like you should be able to get to the playlist to be able to watch every episode. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, check that out. Also check out my other builds where I'm building in the forest, and I need to get back to my forest or my desert series as well. I need to start working on that. I just have so much going on, and I apologize about how late every single one of these videos are. I've been trying to get at least one video out a week, but things just aren't working. But I'm trying, I'm working on it, and I appreciate your guys' patience. So until next time, wherever you guys are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and I'll see you in the next video.